Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're here for our review show, and we're looking back at all the club action from the weekend. I'm delighted to be joined by Tommy Coleman once again, and as usual, this podcast is brought to you in association with McKeever's Teamwear, proud suppliers of all Armagh GA merchandise. Tommy, as I said, we're going to talk about all the club games from the weekend, but first we have a bit of county news that we'll have to discuss for 5 or 10 minutes. We'll start with the ladies, a heroic and historic 3 in a row for the ladies on Sunday there. Getting beat by 4 points with time basically up, come back to draw it, and the same again then in extra time, down by I think it was 2 points in extra time, and Kelly Mullen the hero on both occasions. You were at it, Tommy. What was it like?
It was brilliant. Brilliant. It was just great to be there. You know what? It was a great advert for not only for ladies football, but for GAA football in general. It was an absolutely superb game. Armagh, they just stuck at it and just fought for everything. And, that belief that they have in themselves, you just have to take your hat off them. And to the management team, the work that got the girls into this fitness level, and that they're, obviously what they're saying to them, they're buying into it and they're going for it. They never give up. On the other side of the coin, like Donegal are just, they're going to be going home, and they lost that match twice. That's, the truth be told, they've lost the match twice. We're heading in there towards the end of the game. I think they couldn't only been any more than two minutes left. They're 4 points down. But they're architects of their own downfall. Donegal, who were absolutely, and so were Armagh, both teams, when they played on the front foot and moved the ball quick, they are absolutely brilliant to watch, both teams. You had Niamh McLaughlin and Niamh Haggerty, Shirley McLaughlin, Yvonne Bonner, all great players. Tanya Candy coming from the full back line up on the Donegal side. And then they stopped doing it. They try to hold out. They start playing a lot of football. We'll hold the ball. We'll play a keep ball here. We'll just shut the game out. And Armagh just spun up, pushed them, pressed them. Aoife McCoy got a great turnover, pushed on through, give the ball through to Amy, brings a point to it. The ball comes back out. We're definitely at the last minute at this stage. Donegal play the game and keep ball again. They managed to get it turned over, go to shoot. A freeze given. Kelly takes a quick one into Caroline. She just about popping it over the bar. Referee wasn't happy with it, called it back. So you're sitting, 35 yards out, and you're looking at the post. And it was on the left hand side for Kelly on her 8 foot, which was everything was right for it. But it was really was a pressure kick, and such a leader. She's captain of the team. She stood up there. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. It's the last kick of the ball. Ulster final. And bang, puts it straight onto the black spot. And we go into extra time. And the extra time game was sort of like a carbon copy of the second half of the game. And Donegal came at it again. Armagh just held on, held in, got the odd score, but were always trailing and seemed to had to work harder for their scores. Donegal seemed to come easier, and then Donegal got 4 in front again, and something says, this time, But lo and behold, they never learned. They didn't learn from their mistakes from the first time. Got the ball again, tried to hold it, tried to play it across with the back, and got a turnover. I'm sure it was Caroline got the point at that stage, got the first point. Back out again, out she comes. We're down at about maybe 2 minutes left. Struggled, get a free. Kelly again, the woman's bang, steps over, puts it over. 2. It's only 2 in it. We're going down, we're running down, we're into the last minute. And I have to say, Niamh Morley, the ball came playing out, and Niamh Morley just went, she no fear of her own safety or anything else. The turnover that she won on that line was incredible. It happened just in front of me. And she just put everything in it. Whole soul, leg, limb, body, everything, didn't matter. She was one. Not only did she win it, she was able to get the ball to Fionnuala McKenna, who got the ball, looked up straight away, and bang, into Kelly Mull, and Kelly just turned the girl and into the net. was unbelievable. The scenes was in the stand were just couldn't believe it. And then Donegal came back up, and then they went on the front foot, and they went through Armagh, no ball at all. They got through it and into the corner. And then young Kate Toe from our own club here in Clonerne made a brilliant tackle, won the ball over, played the ball out, and the referee blew it up. But it was a game to behold, and them girls, on fair play, to Ronan, what he's done with them girls, and to win 3 Ulster titles on the trot, that's history making for Armagh. And you know what? Armagh ladies deserve everything that they have. They're a great management team. They have a great, they have a great group of players. So probably this is the best group of players from 2005. Team that got to the All Ireland final. It was 2-5, 2-6. Probably got to the senior final. Cork beat them. Cork started that great run of 10. And Armagh were there at their time. This team, they're going up that way and they're heading in that direction. And, but, the rewards and the hard work that Sinead Reel and Owen Reel and all that their committee do, and, cleaning their own pitch, their training facilities, that they're able to go, they know where they're going, they know what time they go out in the street in the good weather anyway. Hopefully at some stage they'll be able to get their lights, and I know that they're working hard to try and use that. But the benefits that's coming off that, and there's great underage structures in Armagh ladies as well. They've done well at underage. They've picked up 3 titles this year at underage as well. One of them being the top prize at under 14, and that's that's incredible. That's incredible work that's going on, and when you see that they deserve every single bit of credit that they get. They really do. It's been fantastic. It was great there just to watch them there yesterday, and also because during the week there was an awful lot through the Donegal press, and the Donegal management team was being very disingenuous. I have to say it, Armagh. They said they weren't really going for 3 in a row. The fact that they didn't play the 2019 because of the pandemic, which was their choice. And then last year, it was an awful day. We were up in Armagh, went that match as well, and the game with Armagh were the better team that day. There was no question there about it. They were the better team, and the conditions better that day, and they won the game by a point. And yesterday, Donegal, but probably that incentive was also there, that Armagh were there to prove not only that they win an Ulster title yesterday, but they won 3 yesterday. And that's put all that nonsense to bed. They won it, they deserved it, and said all that. Donegal looked more likely for long periods, and you wouldn't be writing Donegal off in their All Ireland challenge anyway. If they go back and learn from it, as I will say, we all get beaten in games. It's what way we look at it and how we approach the next one, and they'll take the positives out of it. But from where I was sitting, when I watched the game, there's certainly, when they all play on the front foot, they're a mighty animal to play again. But the sterling performances there yesterday from Armagh was superb. And Kelly Mullen, leader, inspirational leader, stood up when it mattered, took the scores, was great. We talk about Niamh Morley's, that turnover was something special. But I have to say this, Caroline O'Hanlon, and she'll not make me saying this because her age is in the programme, at 37 years of age, was absolutely outstanding. For me, was outstanding in the middle of the field. For when I was in trouble, she was the go-to. She was getting the ball. She was able to hold it up. She pushed it on when it had to be pushed on. What a role model that girl is. She was actually at training for Northern Ireland netball that morning because they were getting ready for the Commonwealth Games selection team. She had to go there that morning, and then she headed off from there straight to Clones. She's away out to Manchester the other night playing. But just what an athlete, what a role model. And, any young girl, needs to look at anything for inspiration, just look at Caroline. But she was absolutely outstanding there yesterday. And she'll be a big fight, to fill whenever she does decide to go. But the way she's going, she could go on till she's 47. That's the truth. It's absolutely outstanding.
They're incredible, Tommy, and I think they deserve as much support as any Armagh fans can give them for what they've done in the last, as you say, 3 in a row now. But I suppose the big question now, and it's the girls won't want to hear this, it's too soon after, they'll still be celebrating probably, but what's next? Can they push on now for this All Ireland, because I know they've been disappointed in the league a couple of years, but they seem to be a real championship team. When it comes to championship, they can turn it on.
Oh, they really do. They seem to lift their game for the championship, and when you have the players of the quality, the more key forwards like Kelly, who's always reliable for the scores, but Amy Mackin is an exceptional footballer, and of all it, people always say to me, who's the best player you ever coached? And when you talk about in boxing terms, you talk pound for pound, it has to be Amy Mackin. I had worked with her at the underage level with Armagh and at university in Jordanstown, and she's just a special player. And when you have somebody like that in your team, and you're there within 3 or 4 within striking distance, as I proved yesterday again, you're always in with a chance, because what she can do with a football is unbelievable. It really is. And them girls and I, if they can stay, players injury free and get a good free run on it, they're in the group where they play the losers of Leinster. That's Dublin or me. So it'll be a big game for whichever one of them two to play. We have the last 2 All-Ireland champions and that there, so that's going to be a big game. You also then have Monaghan after that. So they have to win one of them to get through into the quarter-final stage. And obviously, you will want to top your group if you can. But there's no reason why this group, can't push on. There's, Roland doesn't need me to tell you where they need to improve on. He's a very astute manager. He's got a great backroom team there with him. So I'm not going to go into that there. But there is room there where they need just to probably to work on. And if they do that there, they won't be far away. They're a damn good side, and there is good. Cork's on the back on the way up again, but Cork's not where they were. Meath's a very, very good side, but it's always you're going out to defend the title. It's just not as easy as you do when you make the initial breakthrough. So there is an All-Ireland there for grabs, but there's 4 or 5 teams in there with a realistic chance of winning it. And Armagh is definitely one of them. And you know what? So is Donegal. Donegal just lost out on the Division 1 league title this year as well. So they're a flying side. And, when they play on the front foot, when you have Niamh McLaughlin, Niamh Hardy, Eamon Bonner and all these, Geraldine McLaughlin. Geraldine McLaughlin scored 111 yesterday. 111 and came out on the losing team. So that gives you an idea of the standard that was there yesterday. It was brilliant, and everybody there had full value for money. It was a large crowd, the stand probably was full, so the stand was full, so it was Jerry Arthur was full, so it was a great day, and it was a great crowd for the girls, and you can see it growing every time. Every year that you go to these finals, you can see more and more. But the excitement was brilliant. I had my funny watch it, my great watch on here, and I thought it was doing a workout. So
you must have been jumping up and down, Tommy, were you?
Oh, jumping down, the heart was flying out of us, but it was great there, and fair play to them. I just wish them all the best now. Hopefully they can push on and win an All-Ireland. There's no reason why they're as good as anybody there. It's just, I suppose, it's getting your players that you want there on the day injury free and hopefully to perform. And if that can happen, there's no reason why they can't do it.
Well, hopefully they have a long summer, and we'll be tracking their progress as usual all summer. And Tommy, just before we move into the club stuff, there was a bit more breaking news on Monday morning with the qualifier draw. And I think the shake of the head is just a whole Armagh done the same thing at 9:15 Monday morning. Just probably the team you didn't want. You just wanted to avoid, you're sick of looking at Ulster teams probably at this stage. Even a trip to Mayo probably would have been better than Tyrone. And while we'll preview the game in a couple of weeks' time when it's coming up, what did you make of the draw? What was your instant reaction?
Well, to be quick, I was in school. I worked in the school, and we were doing the drop-off, so the children were coming in. So everything was under my breath. I'll put it that way. I could not believe it. Well, I couldn't believe it. I said it all along where, we've had these conversations and we're going to get to Tyrone here in this draw. And, and times I do, and I wonder, and I said to myself, when they get them cylinders and containers, they put 2 of them in the fridge so that there's 2 of them cold, that they know what's going to happen here. For the 4 Division 1 sides to be through out against each other, and the 4 Division 2 sides to get through out against each other, it's unbelievable, like, isn't it? It's really, it leaves a lot to be. I don't know why these draws are not done live on the Sunday game, or on a live situation, in front of everybody on TV. That should be done. It's big enough now. Our county board, we do it, and we do it brilliantly. Mickey and Paul go out there, it comes up live, it's put out. Everybody sees what's happening. It's all out there. For me to say anything's underhand, like, but I don't know. It's for me. It'll get a pace, and everybody will want to go to it. But it's one match I wouldn't want it. As an Armagh, as an Armagh man, and wanting Armagh to do well. I'm not saying that they can't beat it. Of course they can beat them, but I don't. For both teams, there's none of the two of them would have wanted that. And you're going in of the history of the last game, and there's a bad feeling still there from the game, the last game in the athletic grounds, where the boys were sent off, and it's something we could have done without. And I'd rather been drawn away to Mayo or something, or anyway, or away to Cork, or whatever it was, rather than play at Tyrone even at home again. It's just that familiarity about it, not rivalry. I think both teams could have done without it. Having said that, whoever wins can take huge momentum out of that third game. And they'll be pushing, and they'll be looking forward. They're not care who they get in the round after that there. But just for now, they'll just have to focus in. And Tyrone, there must be the definitely one thing about them. They've won the All Ireland, the best team in Ireland, I suppose, at the moment. But there's nobody better than them when they build in a siege mentality, and they'll be going with that siege mentality of how we were treated there the last game in the athletic grounds. We got 4 men sent off, and shouldn't have been sent off. And they only had to, and they build on that, and they work on that there. And when they have that there, they're a very, very dangerous opponent.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't want them either, just not at this early stage anyway. And I suppose just having beaten them twice already this year, they'll hopefully make it 3 in a row. But tell me, we'll move on to the club stuff. And there was loads of action over the weekend, as per usual. And we'll start with Division 1A. And the game of the week was Greenmore and Madden. We spoke to Peter Nugent during the week, and he said, and it was right, like, Madden were the favourites going into this, just on the basis of what it had done in the previous couple of weeks. But Greenmore always felt that this was a game that could win, and so it proved. It was a huge win for Greenmore. Tony McClelland getting the goal, the all-important goal that won the game, and the one by a point.
Yeah. I listened to the previous show, and I agreed with it all. And to be honest with you, all the results sort of went. If I'd have been, doing the forecasting, I wouldn't have got any of them right this week. It's just as simple as that. But it was a huge game for Greenmore, and if the Greenmore again wouldn't have won that one, would have found themselves in deep trouble. The fact that they've won that there now, that brings them right back up. And there's not a whole lot of distance in there between the pack. If you string 2 or 3 results together, everything's in the mix again. Let's say Tony has got the goal, and also notice that the Cures are back. They certainly didn't play that night. We're up again with Clonard, and maybe they're getting a few boys back from injury now. And Greenmore get everybody out. You well know from yourself within from the NAB, they're not a bad side, and it was a fighting win for them. And Madden have been playing really, really well. Clonard we beat them first day out, and from that there, they had put one on a run, went on unbeaten, and I'm sure they were going in with high hopes of this. I know this derby game and getting the 2 points, but derbies are sometimes the form book just goes out. It's not sometimes the form book just goes out the window, and it's really who performs on the day, and it's not even who's the best team or whatever. And I'm not saying that Greenmore weren't the best team of the day and they didn't deserve it, but sometimes it's just who wants it that bit more. And who needs that bit more. And Greenmore certainly needed it a wee bit more. And, by all accounts, they wanted it that bit more and got the result.
I think the Clevie and Harps, they played on Saturday night. And the Harps might like me for saying this, but that maybe a bit of an upset too, beating the table toppers, Clevie. I wasn't at the game, but I've heard like the usual names for the Harps were the standout players. I think Minnie McShane set up 2 of the goals. Decky McKenna, Joe McElroy, Charlie Vernon back in the middle of the field. When them sort of 3 or 4 main players are playing for the Harps, they're a very good side.
Yep. As I said, when we played them last week was probably, but didn't do themselves any favours. When they got Decky got sent off, you know. I think they got an all-man sent off on Saturday night too, but were able to hold on for the win. You know, really, I would have been going with Killeavy as well, but I've seen both the sides, and I was very, very impressed with Killeavy that they came down to Clonard. There no sense of I was talking to Killeavy yesterday, a couple of days, and I had a few boys out. I'd obviously have the fact, but not to take anything away from the Hearts. That's a real good win. Many was back, and Tom McKeon actually was pushed. He pushed from centre half up into inside forward, and he had more of an effective game up inside. So a great win for the Hearts. You know, after losing last week, brings them back up into the other half of the table. But you know, when you look at that, you know, the table there, it's totally contested there in the middle. And you know, them next 3 games that's going to come along here, you know, their teams are going to have to, you know, if you're going to have to win 2 of them, 2 out of 3, or else you're going to find when you come to the last 4, you're in the wrong end, and you're going to be in a real dogfight. This division is very, 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 very strong, and especially now with Graham Moore picking up and Drumtee, we'll get on that one as well, picking up 10 points. It's massive, but no. Them goals, you know, it was McQuaid, McCoy, Pantley, and Tom McKeon all scored. Like, and when you score 3 goals, you concede 3 goals. I know they've only paid by a couple of points, Killeavy in the end, but you're conceding 3 goals in that division. It's more than likely that you're not going to come out on top. And you know, fair play to the Hearts, rallied around well, got their scores, and that's a great win for them away from home to a Killeavy team who I would rate very, very highly.
I think that sort of leads us into the Clonard and Drumtee game, and it's the same situation. Tommy, Clonard conceded 3 goals, and as you say, you can't do that in that division. You're more than likely going to be beat. And I suppose the big thing for Drumtee was that it lifts them above. They put level points with Clonard, but obviously the head-to-head, it puts them above Clonard, and so they've climbed from, I think they were second bottom to maybe the 5th in the table now.
That's it. They just rise up above Clonard because of it, you know. Again, Clonard at the home venue, even though we're not playing at home at the moment because of the pitch, but just give away the goals were, by all accounts, were good. I don't want to be disingenuous. Anyway, it's Drumtee who came down, and fair play them, came down and won the game. But from a Clonard perspective, we wouldn't be happy at the goals that we give away. The score, you know, we scored 15 times to Drumtee's 12, and you know, and you don't win the game. And again, it's down to the goals. We just have to get the head down, get it right, and get it sorted out, you know. And when there's players, you know, we're struggling along. Players, you know, we lost our full back from last week again. You know, Jack Collins still not there. Dalian McGee did come on. Actually, Dalian McGee came on with 10 minutes to go, and only a brilliant save from the Drumtee keeper would have put us a point in front. He saved it, and then Drumtee went on down and stuck over an point, and that was the last score of the game. So we were still in the mix, even though we conceded them. But you know, something like that, there's, you know, you have to work on that there and get that there eradicated. You know, to give away goals in the manner that we did. You know, simply you're not going to win matches if you do that. That's as simple as that there.
And the theme of the podcast this week should be goals win games, because down in 1B it was the exact same story. We'll start with us, with Ballymacnabb. Tommy, away to Silverbridge. Silverbridge, despite being beat, are still top of the league. They're still only 8 points, a point ahead of us. But I suppose a really good win for us for going to Silverbridge, who are top of the league. It was a tough game, a tough ask for us, but 3 goals obviously made the difference, all from Pierce Hughes. I'll give him a shout out, our corner forward, and it was important for us to get 2 points away to Silverbridge, as I said, top of the league, and where Ballymacnabb remain unbeaten after 4 games. So this was one that, you know, both teams are really fighting for promotion, and we'll get on to Sarsfields and Clonagale in a minute there, obviously in the promotion talk as well. But a big and an impressive win for Ballymacnabb.
Definitely. And I've said all along that I believe that, and you've always played this down because you didn't want me to do it, but the Nabs, to me, is that cut above it with the experience that they have for this in this, and I don't mean to be disingenuous to anybody because I know how good there are sides in here, but I just feel that now have had a wee bit of extra experience to get them through here, and prove that there on Sunday. You know, the Bridge is one of the hardest places in that league to go to try and get a win. You know, it's remarkably difficult. It can be a taken off we pitch. They play it really well with some great players in there. You know, Garrett, you have Martin, what do you call him? We Rock. Them boys, good footballers, and the kid can play it when they play it up in there and they get that ball going. They're difficult opponents, and you know, usually going there and there. You think Kennedy was back yesterday, was he playing in the middle of the field? Yeah. You know, it's a big asset for you, you know, and you could just drive it on. You're still picking up points, and you're still the Griggins to come back in. You know, Gavin's still probably, you know, a few matches from coming off his best again. He's working his way back in through from the injury, you know, and you're still there. You know, you're only a point behind the Bridge and 2 games in hand, so you know you're in a very strong position. You know, and you know, I had said from the very start, I believed that you were the team that was who was going to come out of there with you. But you know, that is a brilliant performance. There's no, you can't underestimate that, because the Bridge is really is a difficult place. It's, you know, it's a place that they've built up over the years, where you know, you go to, you know, if you win, you fought hard, you know, to get that there win, and although the scoreline it was 7 points in it, I'm sure that probably didn't reflect on the total of the game. You know, I'm sure it was a lot more difficult than that there, knowing the Bridge. So, you know, fair play to them. They're heading in the right direction, and you know, as I still, I've seen nothing to change my mind about it. You know, you've beaten the Clans and you've beaten Sarsfields. You know, you've beaten Bridge. They're all the ones that's at the top end of the table at the moment. And funny enough, the only point you drew was the Cullyhanna. We'll probably get on to them in a wee minute. We were down, but that was only the first game. It was only the first game for the boys as well. You know, for Benny and for Paul. So, you know, everything's looking good for the Knob, and you know, they wouldn't want to be in a better place there now at the moment. You know.
On Sarsfields and Clans, we sort of touched on them there. Tommy, Clans were down by 2 points at half time, and the same got 2 goals in the second half, and that's obviously the difference. The 1-2, 11 to 11 points. Yeah. I think it was Kevin McLean got one of the goals, and Paul McKeown maybe got the second. So a good win for Sarsfields, and a bit of a Lurgan derby. Obviously, they'll have the bragging rights over Clans now. Yeah,
pretty. Bill Counts a pretty feisty affair. Again, and as usual, when we come to Lurgan, I suppose these two teams down the years, especially when I know back in the 70s and the 80s, when we were, you know, really the Clans are a top class side, but so would Sarsfields, you know, and like, they were playing games and even the championships, and the Clans were on that run. The Clans, you know, when they were also champions, never held. So when we only beaten the Sarsfields by a point or 2 points at that time, you know, it was that their nip and tuck, not their rivalries always still have been there. You know, and the intensity's always been there when these two teams play. By all accounts, again, the Clans, you know, were pretty wasteful in the first half. If they'd have took their chances, could have been further ahead. Sarsfields came back out in the second half, played a lot of better football, where they were more accurate up front, took their scores well. And as you said, 2 goals from Kevin. Kevin McLean was supposed to have been a Stanton yesterday. McGill's always, you know, he's quality player. You know, and Thomas McLean was very good yesterday, and these lads who were knocking over the scores, I think their percentage rate was very, very, very high. It was very few wides kicked, and that was the difference. And he said, you know, goals does makes the changes, and you know, puts the Sarsfields in a nice spot there too. Now they're going along well, but you know, Clans again, they got a player sent off there yesterday too. So you know, discipline is, you know, it's so important nowadays. You know, you're going down, teams are that well organised and they're ready for it. You know, the opposition goes down to 14. You have your spare man ready to go, and you know what way you're going to play it. And it's a big, you know, where years ago people didn't who's going to be a spare man. You know, you got a lot of the right back, and you know. But now everybody has everything detailed, everything's down, and you know it's a hard barrier to get over if you lost somebody, and I think the Clans probably found out there to the detriment yesterday.
And just down at the bottom of the table, then a huge win for Carrick Cruppen. We spoke about them. I think it was last week they beat the Oaks, first win of the season and how important it would be. They were the bottom two. Caircroppen have now jumped up. They've beaten Cullyhanna 1-8 to 6 points, and they're now ahead of Cullyhanna. So maybe starting to build a bit of momentum, but maybe starting to find their feet a wee bit in this division. It was such a horrendous start for them away to the Grange the first day, but they just maybe ticking along nicely now and finding a bit of form.
Well, that's it. Well, the wins breeds confidence, and they got the first win there. That's a good win. Cullyhanna's not an easy game for anybody, and the pick up there, it was 1-8 to 6 victory, like it was a 5-point victory. So, and they're a young team and they're learning. It's people think, you just get all these young fellas, just set them in and everything just goes nice and it works. It doesn't work that way. Young lads have good days and bad days, and they're still on the learning trail, and they don't hit their full potential till later on. And the difference with Cruppen and the difference with some of the other teams are, you have a few experienced men filtered right through the teams. Cruppen's nearly basically all young, and they have to do it together. And that's great admiration for them there. After the start of the half, to turn around and to win 2, they'll be looking to try and build on that. It's still going to be a difficult year for them, but if they can get a few wins and get themselves out of there and battle to stay there, it would be a tremendous achievement for them. Absolutely. But Barry Flynn will be over the moon there. That's 2 wins out of 2, and he'll want to try and keep that there going.
On the other game in Division 1B, then Mullabone beat Pearshogue 1-9 to 1-7 on Sunday as well. We'll move on then to Division 2A. On Tommy, this is an incredible game. I obviously didn't see it, but going by a few Twitter posts on that, Shane O'Neill's were 12 points up at one stage in the first half. They were 2-6 to 2 points up at half time. It ended up, I think they were 8 points ahead, maybe with 5 minutes left to play, and St. Paul's won the game by a point. And we're gonna talk about Shane McConville obviously again, as we do when we talk about St. Paul's all the time. But what an incredible story and what an incredible comeback from St. Paul's. Till we talked about the Armagh ladies earlier on. That fighting spirit and never say die attitude, just keep plugging away, and eventually they got the goals then at the end of the game to win it.
Yeah, teams that carry out there from whoever's leading them, you know what I mean? You're rolling at Armagh ladies. But this man here is he's something else. He's laying boys playing the way he played the game himself. It's not over. I don't care how many we get in bed, and he'll just keep going and going and going. He did it as a player, and he'll keep doing the same again, as the manager. And then boys just keep going for him and keep going for him. It's unbelievable to be 12 points down and to go back and to win that game. And I think young Owen McGill got the last goal. I know that there, and he got virtually the last kick of the ball. And yes, again, I wasn't at that game, but it's unbelievable, the way he's done it. And these lads are just. They're just buying into everything that he says. To keep working for him. They're relentless, and he's just from the line. He won't allow them to quit. They're just not allowed to do that. And if anybody's showing any signs of it at all, they just call the line and somebody else goes in. That's the way it is. And St. Paul's, they're going along there nicely. They have 6 points as well alongside the Tones, and they're only a point behind Shane's now. When we're talking about Shane's, how well they were doing, the last time I was talking about, and they've been beaten twice since. So it shows you how quick this league is manic. Like it's very, very, very hard. It's going to be very, very hard to predict. But with St. Paul's, just hat off to Shane and hat off to all them lads what they're doing there. And he's just looking forward to every week now. And I think there's Paul's play Tones this week.
I think they're Friday night.
That'll be an all big derby, and that'll be an all connecting match. So it will be a great game. Them two, the facilities that them two clubs have is fantastic. The Tones pitch and St. Paul's pitch are the best. They're like carpets. You can't play football there. You can't play any. It's a credit to both the clubs, and it's great to see them pushing and doing so well in 2A here. And Tones are only up this year as well from 2B, but doing a great job. They're sitting there at the mid-table. At the moment they're still comfortable enough. So it's all good, all going well.
And the rest of the Division 2A results then, St Peter's beat Armagh 4-9 to 2-6, while Tully Sarn got one over Whitecross 2-17 to 1-9. Division 2B then Tommy, I suppose we're talking about Cullaville nearly every week now. They're flying at the top of the table. They're 5 wins from 5, but they've been so impressive so far, and they've been the better team every game they've played, and they've led nearly from start to finish. This was a bit different on Sunday. They trailed by 4 points at half time, but then had enough to turn it around and eventually win the game in the second half. And again, Colin Waters, the main man, scored 1-5, but they're showing a bit of grit and a bit of determination to come back from 4 points down to win the game.
Yeah, it's Katie. We'll talk about Katie as well. Katie's one of the teams where they actually did score 3 goals and lost the game. They can kind of say it's very, very unlucky as well. But we've said it before, Katie's been knocking at the door of this 2B now his last 3 years, and very, very unlucky. On a couple of occasions, there's been people winning the championship has knocked them out of it and didn't get the promotion. So they're a very, very good side. And if you don't go at it and approach the game right, sometimes you get on a bit of a run, and then maybe a wee bit of apathy sets in, and we'll do it. But whatever happened anyway, they were behind. Katie playing well, but they just showed that they're not lifted it up a notch on the way they went again. And you say Colin Waters, 1-5, and Ty O'Neill got the all goal, and they're heading really in the right direction. I haven't, they're to me like what the NAB are in 1B, Cullaville is like this in 2B. I just for me, it's they go up, it's who goes with them, and that's it. And they'll probably want to go on winners as winners, because in case somebody in 2B goes on and wins that championship, and then you've only got one going up. So that's always a danger, not there. That's happened twice now in this last couple of years with Grange and Carrick and both. So and Katie's been the one that's lost out to that. So they'll be keen to, that's a big win there for Cullaville, and they're going along nicely.
I think for Katie, they can take a bit of confidence in that. Tommy, you don't like losing, obviously, but when you're running the league winner or league, the favourites to win the league, when you're running them so close away from home, it must be said too, Katie were away from home. So to score 3-11 against Cullaville, they'll take huge confidence for that for the weeks coming.
Yeah, well, surely, and I know they probably have a few hurlers there as well, and they've got get a few of the lads there back as well, and they'll, they're always hard to beat, and especially when you're in Katie, it's a very, very, very tough place to go to, and they wouldn't be far from your own neck of the woods, and you know that yourself, that better than me. So, but they'll take a lot of encouragement out of that. To score 3-11 again, the league, a team that has been given out fairly big hefty, getting hefty wins over the course of the year. That's a good return, and that 3-11 would win you most matches. You know what I mean? But we're going to probably talk in a minute to tell you about another team scored 3-11 didn't win. But it's a big score. It's a big score, and to lost out on that there. But they'll go to work this week. Probably they've conceded 2-17. They'll probably look at where they are defensively and maybe try and maybe I don't know whether it's a free count or what all happened there. Maybe they've given away silly frees, or they may be starting off too far when the people are shooting for the points. Maybe have to go in, close that gap down, and get a bit closer in. Whatever it is, it's hard to talk, just to see what the problem is when you're out at the game. But I'm sure whoever's in charge, they'll be shooting enough to get that there sorted out, and they'll head up. They'll up when it comes to they're sort of sitting mid at the moment, but I'd say they'll come and they'll push up the table as it goes along.
And a few more results from 2B from the weekend then. Crossmaglen seconds and Blake drew 110 to 2-7. Ballyhagan, that
was last year's junior final, wasn't it?
Last year's a repeat of it, yeah. So this one was a bit closer. They drew.
Jamie McPortland got a break. He got the 2 goals there for Blake. So that's a good result, and both teams might have been happy enough. They both come out of that division, and Blake's still haven't been beaten. That's the first point that they've dropped. Cross is sitting up at the top end of it too, so they've come in. They've been able to bridge the gap, no problem, from junior up into that intermediate. But then Cross has been up and down, in and out out there for it's long money a day, but the league seem to be building well here, and it'd be nice to watch what well they're just materialize over the next few weeks. They're doing a real good job there, so we'll see what way that ends up.
And the other results then, College Land beat Ballyhagan 0-15 to 0-9, while Farkhill beat Clonmore 110 to 0-6. We'll go down to Division 3 then. Tommy, and you sort of spoke about the game that we were going to touch on. It was O'Hanlon's and Blackwater Town. Blackwater Town well ahead at half time. I think they were 7 or 8 points up maybe. And 3 goals from O'Hanlon's in the second half and brought them back into the game, but they just couldn't get over the line. And Portmore eventually ran out 119 to 311 winners.
Yeah. I know we all talk about winners and we all talk about, but what's your perspective on what is a winner? And you look at O'Hanlon's and you look how small the parish is and really how they struggle. And you just have to have nothing but admiration for those lads. You just keep turning it out year after year, and you don't know whether they're going to get any younger players coming through, and they're just depending on getting 1 or 2 coming through there again just to keep it all going. They haven't won so far this year, and that was a gallant effort there yesterday. And Portmore's come down from intermediate into junior, so that's they're one of the more fancy sides within that their league, and to come so close and not to get the win, it's a bit heartbreaking for them. But again, for them, hopefully it's something for them to build on. It gives them that their wee bit of thing, but a focus, to go out and set it. We all go out and we all like to say, we're going to win a championship or we're going to win a league or we're going to do this. But sometimes it's just, as GAN and as clubs, whereas a wee bit more about us than that there. It's about what we're doing, what way we're promoting in our own community and what facilities that we have and how we keep everything going. And, hats off to O'Hanlon's, and, nobody will begrudge them a win anywhere along the line here. I certainly would hope that one of these weeks, not too distant futures, that we'll be able to talk about it, and hopefully to get that their win sooner rather than later.
And the rest of the results then, just in Division 3, Derrynoose were massive winners over Clady, 6-15 to 5 points. Clevey seconds beat Thomas Davis 110 to 5 points. Middletown defeated Arrow 211 to 12 points. The Summon overcame Dorsey 213 to 18, while St Michael's beat Mullabrack 111 to 0-6. So I suppose, Tommy, you're seeing Arrow 2 in a row losses now. They've slipped down to 3rd in the table, and that it's just taken a bit of time maybe for Derrynoose, but they've eventually made their way up to the top of the table. Their big win over Arrow last week, obviously, and now they've got another one this week.
Yeah, they're definitely, that's a big win for Derrynoose, and they're sitting there. The 6-15 is a massive score, no matter what you're playing or who you're playing, or whatever way it goes, and they perform that their sort of football. This team has been knocking at the door of the junior championship for the last couple of years, and they're always going to be contenders sooner rather than later. So Michael's had another good win there as well, pushes them up into 2nd place. Arrow's a couple of injuries and different things at the moment there, but hopefully they get that back and get themselves competitive. Middletown, whenever they get the hurlers back, and if they're going to go, they're always going to be a force to reckon with too in that division. And there's that's the Summons, and that their second win in a row as well. So, you can see that their league starting to develop. You can see a top half certainly coming, and a sort of bottom half coming, so to speak. And next few matches will be good to watch, but Derrynoose is going pretty well. Derrynoose, you have to say it, that win last week was a massive win again in our own, and that's another big win there against Clady this week. So they'll be more than happy the way things are going for them. And you putting up their score, that just builds confidence and builds, it's something that's to work on for them, and they'll just keep pushing on and on. And it looks to me like they're going to be the team that you beat this year.
So that's all we have time for today, folks. Make sure to check out all our match reports from all the club action at the weekend. We'll be back with another podcast later in the week to preview all the games coming up. I think they're all on Friday this weekend, and as always, we're covering all them games, previews, match reports on podcasts. So make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow us on Spotify if that's where you get the podcast, or follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you'd rather the video version of the podcast. Tommy, as always, a pleasure to have you on, and appreciate you giving us your thoughts on all the club action and the county stuff as well that we had to discuss at the start. So cheers, Tommy.
Thanks very much, Sean. Always a pleasure. All right.